Hello and welcome back to the studio where we paint away the stress of everyday life here in Wales, and I'm continuing my Christmas card painting theme. I have got a canvas here which is a 14 by 10, or you can use any size canvas you want. I've taken the liberty of drawing out my lantern. And let's just have a quick look at the palette, shall we? I've got some medium mix which is available on my website www.clive5art.co.uk. Got a small range of brushes from short flats and a couple of rounds. And as you can see, there's the selection of colours that I've actually got on the palette. Okay, so I've gone to the liberty of pre-sketching a lantern. We're going to be doing a Christmas tree with a lantern today, and I've done this already. That's already out on the shop page. If you want to pop along to www.clive5art.co.uk shop, and you'll go there, go to the digital downloads, and you should be able to download this tracing if you have difficulty in drawing, or if you just want to be lazy like me. So without further ado, let's get some paint on this canvas. Right, so I'm going to just pick up, this is my large handled short flat, because I like to sit back away from the canvas now, because I don't want to get my big head in shot if I can help it. I'm picking up some white, some titanium white, some cerulean blue, there we go, titanium white and some cerulean blue on the same brush. And I'm going to proceed to paint this sky in like this. Now this is going to be a nice cold Christmassy type of scene, and I'm expecting there to be a bit of snow this year. We don't have that snow for quite a while actually, and I know many parts of America and places like that you get a lot of snowfall, but we've been quite lucky around. We just get rain, which is not really lucky really, is it? But it's better than snow. But if you haven't had snow for a while, then you get to look forward to the snow. The kids absolutely love the snow, and they like going out and playing in the snow. So I'm just loosely painting this in. This is a slight blend. I don't want it to be a rough blend. What I mean by a rough blend is I'm not leaving marks like that. I'm actually trying to soften down those edges a bit. There we are. A little bit of blue, and if you lay lightly, just bring your brush over. Kitchen paper is always a handy thing to have in the studio, it really is. I'm just taking the excess off my brush, and I'm just very lightly, very lightly, just smoothing those edges down a touch, just a touch, don't want a lot. I'm going to get a little bit of burnt umber to that blue. There we go. I just want to darken this colour up a bit, not too much, because I want to go into this side. So I've got a little bit of burnt umber with the blue. I'm just going to go, actually it might be a good idea if I just, I know what's going to happen here. Looks a bit like a Prussian blue, that does. I know what's going to happen here. If I paint over that now, I'm going to lose my drawing, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my detailing brush, and I'm quickly just going to get a bit of burnt umber, and I'm just quickly going to draw this out. Okay, so I did that. What I want to do now is I'm just going to paint around that without actually touching it. There you go. Because we can I want to put a bit of a glow on there after anyway. So just using this bit of darker blue now. Let's get some darker blue in. There, like that. There you go. Let's put that. I don't want to lose my line. If you want to paint the background on first, and which may be a little bit easier for you, then do that and then put your lantern on. But the reason I do that is because it's just easier for me, really. I'm a bit lazy when it comes to things like that. And I think, well, if you can make your life easier in the studio, then make your life easier in the studio. It's your studio, it's your painting, you can do whatever you want. And don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. If you're told that's the wrong way of doing something, but it works for you, then continue doing what works for you. At the end of the day, I don't believe in pushing my ideas, my techniques, my way of painting onto other people. What I try to do is to encourage people and just give them a start. Just give them the start then, and then work on your own techniques yourself. Find your own style. That's very, very, very important, is find your own style. Copying, yes, of course you can copy. I've copied masters. But essentially, use what you've learnt and incorporate that into your own way of painting, your own style of painting. Because that's what art is, it's self-expression. And if people take that self-expression away from you, then you just become somebody that just copies other people's work. And that's not what you want to do. It certainly is not what you want to do. Like, I copy some Van Goghs and some Thomas Gainsboroughs and stuff like that, yes. But that's to learn how they may have done it. That's all that is. It's a learning process, and then I use that and push that into my own work and try and see if I can incorporate that type of style and that type of technique into my work. And that's what I try to do. And that's what I encourage you to do as well, if you can. There we go. Nice dark area there, like that. Using a long handle brush, and I'm painting it with it that close. It doesn't make sense, does it? No. So a long handle brush, really, you should really use it and paint from a distance so you can see more. Because if you get close up like that, you can get colourblind, or subject blind, I call it. You can get enthralled into that subject, especially if you're doing portraits and you can't really see anything until you look back. Some people got mirrors and they look in the mirror and that. I'm going to have a sip of tea. Right, so continuing to put this darker area in. I've got a tendency of using my paints quite thinly. I'm terrible for that. It's just the way I paint. Some people put paint on a lot thicker, but I like to build up in layers. So we've got a nice little bit of background going on there now. I'm really, really impressed with that background, actually. Let's just get a bit of this white moving up there. A bit more white. Let's just get a bit of white moving up there like that. What a lovely colour. Cerulean blue, burnt umber and white. That's all that is. Basically, that's a really nice colour. I quite like that. Right, okay, what we need to do now is I haven't used another brush yet, have I? I keep using the same brush. And I think I'm going to continue to to use this brush. I quite like this brush. Let's mix a bit of green then. Let's get some yellow and get a little bit of this cerulean blue to it, and let's see what we can come up with. Let's get a nice blue green and just play around. We want quite a dark colour. We want quite a dark colour, so let's get a little bit of burnt umber to it. Using burnt umber, I like using burnt umber to darken my colours. Is that dark enough, I wonder? Maybe just a touch of black to the one side of it. A bit more black. A bit too much moisture on my palette this morning, but I don't mind that. See, my brush is really well loaded with paint. Okay, so I think the first thing we need to do is just using the edge of the brush and try and represent maybe some pine needles. Go darker in the center then, like that. Reload, chisel edge, just using the edge of the brush, make it look like possibly some pine needles or something that's coming off the tree. A little bit more black, I think. Again, put some needly shapes in. Can't really go wrong with this, can you? Because at the end of the day, fir tree, it's got so many leaves and branches and little bits coming off it. But as long as you represent that effect that we got, then that's all well and good. Let's get a bit more black. It's for some reason it's losing its colour. So I'm mixing a bit of black, bit of yellow together. I want it quite dark up here, quite dark there, because this is where we need a bit of contrast. We're going to be putting some more leaves on this shortly. That's hanging off a branch, that is. Again, chisel your brush. If your brush is overloaded, take some paint off your brush like that. And don't worry if your brush is getting a little bit sticky, because inevitably that helps the paint come off. There we go. Just loosely. What I'm going to do is add a bit of blue to that colour. I want to lighten that colour down just a tad, a little bit of white. Lighten that colour down just a tad and put some a bit more. I want it to look as if it's just a little bit further away in the background there. Maybe a little thing that's just a little break in that. There we are. Let's get a bit of lighter green now. Again, go over that like this. That makes it look as if it's a little bit more distant. Maybe there's a break in the branch there. Maybe there's a break in the branch there. So we're going back into our dark colour now. There you go. And then just continuing to put in some pine leaves. This is one This is a different way of painting trees. Normally we paint the old tree, don't we? So there you go. That looks quite nice. I quite like the look of that. I really do. Now I'm going to let that dry a little bit now. What I want to do now is, as we've done on a previous lesson, hopefully you've seen that one before you've seen this one. Who knows? I've got to get myself, where did I put that? There it is. We've got to get some snow on this canvas now. So I'm using this little cannibalized fan brush, but you can use a toothbrush, and you've seen me do this before, towards me like this, and I'm just going to put a bit of snow into that scene like that. There you go. Put that in the water. I'm going to get a cotton bud again. Again, this is a trick that I use, and I just, well, that's all used up. Let's get a new one. It's gone hard. We want it soft to get that nice snowflake effect. Like that. There we go. Looking nice. Now, what we need to do is we've got to paint the inside of this now. Now, the complement to blue is orange. So, I was taking a well-deserved sip of tea. We need to make some orange. So, let's do that. The complement of blue is orange, and they sit really well together. There we go. And let's get some orange into here, and we could put a little bit more red on the one side because we want it a bit warmer up the top. Loosely painting this in now. Loosely painting this in because we've got a glowing light in there. We've got a candle or something that's burning bright, which is lighting the way for Santa Claus and Rudolph. It really is. Now you can paint this at any time of the year. That's why I haven't put any Christmas trimmings or music on. Christmas trimmings. I haven't dressed up for Christmas this year. I normally do, but I want you to be able to change this and paint it any time of the year. I want you to do that because I think it's important. I don't want to label my paintings to specific times of the year because I want these videos to be watched, and that's important. But that doesn't stop us celebrating Christmas, does it? Let's get a bit of white into that orange mix now. I'm just making it a little bit brighter, and you can see that I'm just putting like a hash mark in. I'm going vertically and going horizontally in like that. And that does what that does. It just breaks it up a little bit more yellow down here. There you go. Crosshatch. That's what they call it. Crosshatching. A bit more red. Red and green go really well together, so we need to incorporate a bit of red. Again, that's a complement to green, and that is important. Then we need to put a little bit of that colour in as well, because as I said, it's a complement to green. So we got orange, which is a complement to blue, and we got green and red, which are complements. That way, this painting then will sit really nice together. It'll sing, as they say. It'll sing of angels. Oh yes. Got a little bit of glow going on in there now, which is really nice. It is really nice. Let's get a bit more white into that colour. Let's put a bit of white there like that. Maybe that's the candle there. Candlelight. Can't see the candle. Why can't you see the candle? Because it's so bright. You can just about make it out, I think. If you look closely, you should just about make that candle out there. It's so bright. Oops, picked up a little bit of blue then, didn't want to do that. But okay, we can paint that out. Yeah, maybe it's a shadow of a of a branch. Who knows? I don't know. There you go. It's looking bright. Christmas tree. Christmas tree, isn't it? Yes. Now, I've got to decide what colour I'm going to do with this thing. Let me think. I think it would be good if we had. Let's just get a little bit of black and a bit of cerulean blue, and that's going to make like a Prussian blue type of colour, because we want this quite dark here. There you go. We're putting that in like that. Just using a little filbert brush, which I tend to pick up a lot. I don't use many brushes in the studio. I try and use the same type of brushes all the time, because I think it's until you get used to your brushes and your painting. I'm going to add a little bit of white to my brush now like that, and this is going to lighten that colour up without mixing a colour. You just bring in that colour together in the same colour spectrum or tonal value, if that makes any sense. A little bit more light catching there like that. And we've got a bit of light catching there. That's nice. So I'm just going to put that down a touch. I'm going to pick up my little round, and these brushes are available on my website if you want to pop along and buy them. They're quite handy little brushes, and I do use my own brushes, obviously, in the studio. I have them made for me, so please pop along and have a look at those if there's any brushes there you like. I am running out of stock as we speak, but I've got some more on order now for New Year, so hopefully they'll come in. But these are there at the moment, so I'm just putting in the top of this lamp. Picked up some green then, doesn't matter. I never had much when we were children as far as Christmas is concerned. I can remember running down the stairs. It was only I've ever had about 4 or 5 presents, I think. The children have so much more these days. But I'm going to get a bit of light, bit of white, white. I'm just going to put in a little bit of white. I just pulled a bit of paint off my brush then, just to get this colour. There you go. I'm going to put a bit more white to this colour now. I'm just going to lighten this colour up a touch, and I'm going to try and make this flow. So I've just added a little bit of my medium mix to my brush. I'm just going to finish this line and turn my head to see if my head is in shot, which it is. So I'm actually sitting on quite a strange angle here. I'm trying to avoid getting my big head in, but it's inevitably difficult because I got such a big head. In a nice way. Well, there's no easy way of doing this, so we just need to build, paint slowly, and hopefully this will come to fruition. There we go. You can see these brushes run really nicely. They're very, very fine brushes, and I quite like the way they work. There's plenty of brushes out there in the marketplace, you know. I'm not saying please pop along and buy all my stuff on my website, because this, at the end of the day, it's your choice. You can do what you want. And some people say, well, why are you advertising all your stuff, Clive? Well, Clive's got to make some money, because these lessons, especially when you're doing them on a regular basis like this, take so much time. And that's not just for my channel, that's all the other channels. So we need to, if I spent a little bit more time on this, I might get straighter edges, but am I worried? No, I'm not particularly worried. This is just a Christmas card, and if there's a few imperfections in there, then it just shows that I'm a human being and I'm not a printing machine, and I didn't print these, I actually painted them by hand. And that is important with art. Don't try and worry about things always being perfect. Now, if you're the type of person that likes perfection, then by all means spend the time you need on something. But I've learned sometimes that when we got a few mistakes or a few rough edges or things don't look quite right, these paintings sell better. Why, I don't know. Why, I do not know, but they do. Maybe it just shows that you're vulnerable, you're a human being, and at the end of the day it's about self-expression, and you put a lot of yourself into these paintings. These paintings are part of you. They take your life. If you think about the time you actually sit there and paint or create anything, really, you could be crocheting, couldn't you, or something? I don't know. All these things take part of your life away from you. And if you can leave something that you've created behind, then part of you remains here. And my father used to make some old wooden gypsy caravans, and you know, it's a nice little legacy. I've got one upstairs actually that he made. I remember sitting there making a couple with him, in fact. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We need to just wash our brush very quickly, get that bit of blue out. Let's get a bit of orange. I just want to correct that edge there. And now while I've got a bit of this orange, I'm just going to put a little bit of glow down around the edges there like that, like as if there's a little bit of light coming through. There you go. Looks good. I quite like that. What do you think? It's a lamp. It really is. Now let's go back to our tree. I think it's still a little bit wet. I'm quite surprised. It's still a bit wet. But what we need to do now is to get some lighter green. So let's mix some nice light green. It's just pulling a bit of yellow across there like that. Again, loading this up to a nice chisel edge. And let's just put a few like the marks just on this tree like that. There you go. Don't want a lot, just a little bit of light, a little bit of contrast. There you go. Don't want a lot. It's a Christmas card scene at the end of the day. It is. Let's get a little bit of that orangey colour, because we just want to maybe just put a little bit of orange there, which is going to balance against our blue, and put a bit of orange in there as well. It's a bit of light coming off that lamp. Again, let's just get some pure yellow, as pure as we can, because we haven't washed our brush. Let's just put a little bit of light sparkling there like that. There you go. I quite like that. I do. If you wanted to, you could get some thin paint that we actually did the lamp thing with, and we could put some scrolls, like as if there's some pattern or something in our glass, which is just catching a bit of shadow. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but it'll just look as if maybe a little bit of frosted glass that we can see on these lamps sometimes. There you go. And you can just about see the candle through there. And we could, because that's going to be hot there, but what we could do is just put a little bit of, just get a bit of white paint and just put a little bit of snow, and maybe is just caught there, and that's just hanging in midair now. I just noticed that. So we need to put some sort of a chain on there like that, and all we do is just do corresponding circles like that. We could get a little bit of light like that. There we go. Let's put a bit of light in there, a bit of light on there. And I'd like to ask you at this point to please subscribe to the channel. I upload every Monday. There's a little icon there. You can click on that. There's things in the iCards, but you can also click down, just signing this. You can also click down by there, and please subscribe to the channel. And I hope you enjoy this. So thank you very much, and I will paint away the stress of everyday life with you again in Wales. And please use this and have fun, and don't forget that tracing on the website. Bye. And don't forget to click subscribe.